What it do, family? You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole. The homie Ray Jeezy's out. You know what I mean? So what's going on with y'all? I know y'all ready for like Snowmageddon. I know it's all crazy. Some of y'all are gone a little crazy. Won't lie to you. The shopping at grocery stores, get it together. I'm just saying, get it together. Some of you guys are doing a little too much. All right. You won't be in the house that long. All right. You won't be in the house that long. You will be able to survive. I'm not lying to you. All right, before we dive into this awesome show, because usually we don't do a Saturday show like that, but you know, the Nats are doing big things. So we just want to make sure we tap in. Before we talk about that, we got to knock out some logistics. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Check out our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube chat, we accept super chats. Super chats help us support the show. The super chat will be prioritized over all comments in the chat. So your super chat will be prioritized over everybody in the chat. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. You can also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, let's get into our tradition. The pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Talk Nats. Kevin Nibley will join me to talk about the Washington Nationals trading away ace MacKenzie Gore to the Texas Rangers for several good prospects. All right, not just prospects, but several good prospects. But let me not waste any time. Let me get my guy right into the show. Kevin, what is good, my guy?
Hey, well, thanks for having me. How's it going?
I'm
you
good.
You keep insane with the Snowmageddon?
I'm trying to, Kevin. These people make me insane.
Yeah, no, I lived down in Alexandria, and like I went to the grocery store last night, and it was like Soviet Russia, man. There was like nothing. There was no bread. There was hot dog rolls was all you could get last night around 10 o'clock. It was crazy.
I was annoyed because I did want to get one. I did want to get one thing. Like I wanted to get some bread. I want to get like my favorite brand of bread, like hamburger buns. Like it's low carb, like a low carb bun. And all of it was gone. And I was so annoyed. I was like, you see, you're doing too much. And some of you all don't even eat that healthy. You're doing too much.
No, it's crazy. I live in like a little apartment complex kind of building down here, and there's like a parking garage. And when I knew it was going to be bad. I went down to my car last night around 9 or 10 to go to the grocery store, and literally there was a bag of groceries just on the ground in the garage. Like someone in a panic was like running back to their apartment and dropped it and didn't come back for it. I mean, it's like a disaster movie, and it hasn't even snowed yet. You know,
I would hate for like a zombie apocalypse. I would hate for it, to be honest with you. I would hate for that. We see how this is going on with just snow.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No, it's rough. It's rough. It's the South. I guess the Mid Atlantic not quite ready for snow. I guess.
Yes. The Mid Atlantic's not ready. It's like I expect places like Atlanta or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, come on now. We know this already. Come on. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? All right, so Kevin, before we talk about this mega trade, first off, can you just plug Old DC, your apparel, and also like you have a great podcast out there as well. Plug everything you need, but plug everything so folks can know.
Hey, I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the podcast, the Talk Nats blog, which is one of the best baseball blogs in the country, definitely the best Nats baseball blog that exists. We restarted a podcast, so please check that out. It's at Talk Nats Podcast. That's our handle on YouTube if you want to watch the video version. That's also our handle on X. We've had some really cool guests. We actually had Jonathan Banks from like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, no, and we just had Drew Stewart and Tyler Clippard. I think we're taking the direction. It's cool. We're gonna interview a lot of some of the former players from the glory years from that like 2012 to 2019 area. So that's exciting. And yeah, we drop it every Friday now. It's going to be a regular thing, like about a 20-minute podcast, somewhere in that range, every Friday. Might come out Thursday night at midnight, maybe Friday morning by like 10 or so. But in that range, subscribe. You'll get it every week. And for Old DC, it's an apparel company I run. It's fun. It's like a little shirts and hats, local fan gear. We just partnered with Bram Weinstein, the voice of the radio radio play-by-play voice of the Commanders and Empire Media. And yeah, we have some cool stuff. I don't think a ton of people know about us yet, but we've literally just started advertising on Facebook and Instagram this week. So we're hoping to grow it. And yeah, I mean, we offer some discounts if you do Talk Nats Pod or Empire at checkout. You get 10% off. And we have some fun stuff, and we're going to keep putting out new stuff every couple weeks. And keep up with us. So yeah, thanks for letting me plug on that. I appreciate it.
I mean, you got dope stuff. Like the
Thanks.
apparel is good. I gotta get some more. So FYI, I mean, I haven't forgot. I haven't forgot. I tell life has been life, and not just some other stuff. I have not forgot. I have not forgot. But I have the same hat. I think it's one of the hats I kind of like. I love what I'm wearing. I will tell you, I have many compliments about that said hat that I got from you. So
yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a real like homegrown kind of little fan shop. It's not like we're not charging $40 for hats, or we're not like doing the $40 t-shirts, like $50. Like we're trying to keep prices reasonable. Pretty much everything's like $30 or under. It's like made by fans for fans. And yeah, I mean, I remember a few weeks ago I went up to Moreland Tavern on 14th Street with a buddy, just had a beer and a burger, and someone came up and loved this hat. I've gotten some compliments out in the wild, and we actually do. Sorry, I'm plugging it for a little bit.
Yeah. No. I want you, Kevin. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I want you to.
No, we do offer promotion. I mean, if you go to our website, you'll see it. But if you do end up having one of our products and you take a photo of yourself actually in the wild, we have an urban sports scene photo up on the website with your hat. But if you take a photo of it in the wild and you send it to us, we'll give you a nice discount code as a DM for another purchase. So we do appreciate that. We want to kind of get this stuff out into the community, have people start seeing it. Because when I wear it out, people comment on it. I get some nice compliments. So
no, because it's a really good hat. Like, it's a dope hat. Ray even had a comment to say, like, yeah, this hat's tight. So it's like, it's an awesome hat. The designs are great. Like, even the shirts, everything. So I plug it. I'm not saying it because I think Kevin is cool. I'm saying that because I'm just being real. Like, I actually like. It is, like Kevin said, it's something that I guarantee you, if you wear it, you will get a stranger pull up on you and say, "This is dope. Like, where did I get it from?" It's that type of product, to be honest with you.
Well, hey man, I really appreciate that, and that's the goal. It's just a small little shop we run, and we're hoping to grow it, and we're just kind of hoping to add some fun, cool new stuff to the DC sports culture, and that's basically what we're doing with it.
Oh, definitely. It's there. It's there. I believe it's gonna blow up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I definitely believe it's gonna blow up. So to this trade. All right.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like, what is this trade? Like, tell me about it, because I mean, I love MacKenzie Gore. I thought when they made the deal to get him, he would be a long time Nat, in my opinion, keeping that lineage of like a Strasburg or a Max Scherzer for a couple of years, that would have him in that situation where this team would be able to make that run with him as the ace of the team. So yeah, like, thoughts on, like, first, what was this trade about, who was included, and also your overall thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, obviously we traded MacKenzie Gore, who is our ace. He clearly is the best pitcher we had on the staff for the last couple of years. He hadn't quite developed into that ace level of like a Scherzer or Strasburg, but a lot of people feel like he's on that trajectory, and maybe in a couple of years he could be that good. He's had some really strong first halves of the season where he looked like an all-star, that kind of level of a pitcher into July, but then the last two seasons, his back half, from July to September, not so good. And maybe that hurt his value a little bit. But I think like the bigger picture, essentially, the Nats trading Gore, we had him for 2 more years. We had him for 26 and 27. And in 27, there's a lot of speculation that could be a year with labor issues. There's a lot of the baseball owners are probably going to want a salary cap based off what the Dodgers are doing. I'm waiting for my $600 million check from the Dodgers for doing something right. The Dodgers are just, they don't, and with all of it deferred, they don't, they'll just write anyone a check at this point. But yeah, so so we had him for 2 more years. The 26 season's going to happen all the way through the World Series like normal. 27 season, we don't know. So maybe there was some caution there where it's like, well, we only had a guy for 2 more years. It might only be 1 more year if there's a labor problem. Scott Boras is his agent. We're probably not going to be able to re-sign him, so let's get what we can now. So that, I think that was the reasoning. So in
Okay.
terms of who they got back, they got 5 prospect package back. At the moment, none of them are in the top 100, and that's what some Nats fans are upset about. But I've also gone online and I've seen some Rangers fans that are like, "Whoa, we gave up way too much."
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
heard it goes both ways. Yeah.
yeah, for a pitcher that's only ever had an ERA over 4 and isn't really like that,
Yeah.
hasn't totally become an ace yet. But so, okay, so we can go through the prospects if you like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So the headliner would be Gavin Feen. He is a middle infielder at the moment, probably shortstop or third base at the moment.
Yeah, I heard
Though
about
some
that.
say maybe he'll go to first at some point, but he's a headliner. He was the number 12 overall pick
Yeah.
in the draft this past year. And the speculation, which makes sense, is Paul Taboni, our new general manager, who was previously with Boston. The Rangers took Feen a few spots before Boston could have gotten him. So clearly this was a guy that Taboni probably really wanted when he was with Boston, in the draft last July. And he's the headliner. A lot of people like him, like his bat, like his attitude. So he's a guy. I don't think he's in the top 100 prospects yet, depending on the list, but he probably will be, soon. So I would count him as a top 100. The next most interesting player in terms of upside is a pitcher, Alejandro Rosario. He was a top 50 prospect even a year or so ago, but he's had some injury issues. He's getting a TJ surgery, so we're not going to see him for a little bit. He's not going to be in the picture till 2027. But his minor league numbers in the little bit of minor league experience he has is very good. He's got like a crazy strikeout rate, like 1.5 guys an inning. His ERA was in the low 2s. He's and sorry, I should have mentioned too with Feen. Feen's only 18. Rosario, we're not going to see in a couple of years. So, due to his TJ surgery and having to come back from that. But those two guys are potentially top 100 prospect level players for sure. But I think the theme that we're seeing is like none of these guys are going to be here, debuting in 2026 or probably even 2027. So I think the theme we're kind of getting at is for Nats fans, the rebuild is going to be rebuilding. It's like we're probably not trying to really be a great team again till 2028 at the earliest. And yeah. So those are top 2 guys. And yes, and they could easily be top 100 prospects depending on the rankings, and how it shakes out with Rosario's injuries. So I think that's a pretty solid return for a year plus of Gore, because it might not really be 2 years of Gore if there's a work stoppage in 2027.
That's a good point too.
Yeah. So the other 3 guys, so the guy you're going to see first is a Nats fan. And excuse me if I mispronounce his first name, but I believe it's Abimelec Ortiz. Abimelec Ortiz.
He's Dominican, right?
Yeah, he's essentially a first baseman. He's close to the majors, so we might see him. My guess is we'll see him play some first base this year. He's another left-handed hitter, so that's going to be a thing. The Nats are going to have so many left-handers, but we'll probably see him in the mix this year. Probably replacing Andres Chaparro. And yeah, I think he'll be in the mix with Yohandy Morales, who's another prospect, and Matt Mervis, who they got from the Marlins. It seems like, if I had to guess, I think first base for the Nats, it's going to be like a committee of these younger guys. Like we kind of have a grab bag of young first basemen, and I imagine they'll all go spring training, and whoever plays well will get that job, and the rest will go to AAA, etc. Yeah, so we'll see him first. Like that guy will Ortiz we'll see this year. He may play first for the Nats this year, depending how he does in the spring. The next one who folks are excited about is Devin Fitzgerald. He's he's 20, so another young guy we're probably not going to see for a couple years. He's a switch hitting middle infielder. A lot of guys are really high on him in terms of scouts. He got injured last summer, but basically His minor league numbers up to that point were very strong. Some people are really high on him. Others think, maybe he just profiles as a utility guy, but he's an interesting prospect. Switch hitting middle infielder. And then the last guy is more of a lotto ticket, Yeremy Cabrera. He's an outfielder. He's also 20, so we're not going to see him for a couple of years in the majors. So yeah, it's revealing Paul Taboni's strategy of like, this isn't like, oh yeah, like let's reboot and sign some guys and compete in 26 or 27. I think sadly as Nats fans, we're restarting to rebuild and we're looking more towards 2028. 2029 to really hopefully be back in play. But Cabrera's an outfielder. The one thing that jumps out at you from his minor league stats is 43 stolen bases and 47 attempts. So if his bat's good enough to get, and he plays center too, so if his bat's good enough to get to the majors, that's like potentially a Jacob Young replacement. That's a guy who looks like he can do damage with his legs. So yeah, that's the package back. I mean, I think all things considered, for a year plus of Gore, who's not going to resign with you because he's a Boris client and he's gonna, and especially with the economics of baseball the way they are, where the Dodgers and then below them the Mets, whoever can just blow guys away with crazy deals. He's probably not. Gore wasn't going to be a guy you're going to keep long term. So I do think it's upsetting for Nats fans in the sense you're like, okay, cool. Like we didn't like the last rebuild. So here's more, here's another 3 years of rebuilding. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but logically it does make sense to trade Gore. It does make sense to get a package back. And they got 5 prospects. I mean, literally if one of them hits and is a all-star level player for 6-7 years, that completely justifies trading a year plus of Gore. So, I don't hate the move. I think it makes sense, but it's also not. It's a tough sell to it's a tough sell to a fan base who's been through 4 or 5 years of rebuilding at this point. And sadly, it is looking like since that World Series in 2019, it's almost like a loss. It looks like it's going to be a lost decade, and it's like, ooh, let's make the 2030s meaningful. But hopefully,
2030s meaningful.
I mean, seriously though, I mean, a lot of people love Paul Taboni and the team of whiz kid analytic guys he's assembled. So yeah, who knows? Maybe in the 2030s, the Nats are dynasty, and I think we'd all take that. But yeah, no, it's a tough sell for next couple of years, because I don't think we're really going for it. I guess your Orioles are much, I'm glad I have Mass, and I might have to like watch a few Orioles games.
Oh no, I'm still mad about trading Rodriguez. So I'm still a little bit upset.
yeah.
Like I'm not all the way. Like, I still haven't got over that one. But like I mentioned, like, or he's actually he's in Puerto Rico, so I was incorrect about that. But he did the Carlos Beltran Academy. I thought it was kind of dope. Ortiz. He did the Carlos Beltran.
A lot of people like him. I mean, this was like a kind of a scouts trade in a sense. I mean, I've read all. I'm obviously not a scout. I'm obviously not in the red watching these guys. Yeah. But I'm reading what people are writing, and I mean, it's like depends. This is an interesting trade. It depends on who you talk to. Some people are like, "Whoa, the Nats like fleeced, the Rangers, and this is like Paul Taboni's a god," Other people are like, "Wow, we gave away MacKenzie Gore for not even one top 100." There's a lot of mixed feelings. I will, with Gavin Feen, maybe for Nats fans, a long time ago, Mike Rizzo probably wanted to draft Trey Turner. He couldn't get him in the draft, and he traded Steven Souza to get him. And Trey Turner obviously was a huge piece of that championship team. So, maybe Gavin Feen in a best case, maybe Taboni giving up a year or so of Gore to get the guy he really wanted in a draft, who he's in love with. Hopefully he'll be our next Trey Turner. He's not the same type of player from like a stolen base speed thing, but hopefully he'll be a real foundational piece of the next competitive Nats team. We shall see. I mean, the one thing I will say about the Nats, I know it's like depressing what I've just talked about.
It is. It kind of sort of. I'm not gonna lie to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. The outfield. I mean, you look at James Wood, Dalen Lyle, and if Dylan Cruz can take that next step, I mean, that's a pretty loaded outfield. I mean, and we're now. It just seems like we're just stocking up. prospects. So, and
Mhm.
we got a catcher prospect, Harry Ford for Jose Ferrer. I mean, so some of these guys start hitting, that looks like a pretty loaded team in a couple of years if these guys hit. And the front office that they hired, they're supposed to be famous for player development, and that's their whole deal and all that. We'll see. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I the Nats the 2030s could be a great decade for the Nats. We'll see. But I don't think 2026 is necessarily is going to be a great year. I guess I'll put it that way.
Shout out to Talk Nats. Yes, to
Yeah.
to the 2030s.
Hey,
We can
yeah.
call him Abby. We'll call him Abby. Abby Ortiz. I like that. Abby. We'll call him Abby.
Okay. Yeah.
Abby Ortiz. George has a question for you in the chat. Says, I was wondering when we would get to this. So basically, this is the rebuild of the rebuild.
Yep.
Didn't we get Gore in the Soto deal? Yeah, we
did. Yeah, Gore was one of the headliners in the Soto deal, along with James Wood and CJ. And oddly, what's kind of silly, but okay, so this is how all this prospect talk is great, but when they made the Soto deal, you know who the headliner, who the number one ranked prospect in that deal was? It was Robert Hassel III. That was the guy at the time. They were like, that's the guy. And obviously we saw, James Wood now would be the guy. And then CJ's been great, and Gore had, some pretty solid years. So you never know with these things. So I do think getting 5 prospects is smart.
Yeah.
You don't know which one. Right now Bean is the guy, right? The way Hassel was at the time when we trade Soto, but maybe it's Rosario, maybe it's Ortiz, maybe it's another one of these guys who pops up, and all you really need is one. If one works out, it was worth trading Gore. If 2 works out, it was a great trade. But yeah, this is a rebuild of the rebuild. I've seen some posts on X where people, they're not, how like in the NFL they have coaching trees, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it now. It's like the Soto trade tree where it's
oh my God, there's a
I've
Soto
seen,
trade. Are you serious?
Yeah, because it's like Soto now that because Gore's been traded, the branch, But I will say, we've yet to win 75 games since we traded Soto. So let's not get I think sometimes with baseball fans we get a little too enamored with these prospects. Like, why don't we get a team together that can be 500 before we get too excited? But yeah, no, the Soto trade tree is growing and growing.
You said the Soto trade tree is growing. George has another question for you.
Yep.
It says our statement. It says except in one of these prospects turn into a multiple time all-star, this organization will trade that person.
It'll be it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm with you that I'd like to see that the learners. Sorry, I can only answer one question.
No. You find no, this is not a question. This is like this is a statement. This is a statement.
Gotcha.
This is not a question.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, I mean, the learners haven't spent yet, and that's an issue. I mean, I say it all the time. They act like they're so poor. I mean, they have like $8 billion or whatever they have. They've obviously built a mini Times Square around that ballpark. I mean, it blows my mind when I go there, all that's been built around that park in the last couple of years. So, I mean, obviously people have money there. It's not like we're all broke, crying poor, but it does seem like if the learners remain owners, it does seem like their philosophy is they don't want to spend on free agency and bringing in like kind of hired guns like they did with Daniel Murphy or Max Scherzer or Patrick Corbin until they feel like they have a foundational core of youngsters. And they don't feel like they have that. And I guess I can't blame them, but time will tell. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see if the learners sell the team to Ted Leonsis or someone else. If they do stay in there, we'll see if, let's say this year Dylan Cruz develops, then you have like a pretty killer outfield for the next 5-6 years with Gore, Cruz, and Lyle. If Harry Ford looks good and 1 or 2 of the infielders look good, then you kind of have a team where you just need to sign a DH first baseman and a couple more pitchers, and then you're ready to at least compete for a wild card. We'll see if the learners step up. But yeah, I mean, I do understand. I think as a Nats fan, it's fair to be cynical of like if we're ever going to keep any of these young players. It seems like we're like in a house flipping business for a while since we've won the World Series. Like anyone that's good gets traded. So I that's a fair comment.
There's another comment from George. The point is we were sold that trading Soto to build the next contending team. Instead, we are trading for just another damn rebuild. Even Ted Leonsis looks preferable as owner to the learners. Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm not going to sit here and defend the learners, but if I was going to, that, you could say, well, that's why they fired Mike Rizzo. Like, if the learners were happy with the business they're conducting, right, then we'd still have Rizzo and Davey,
Mhm.
etc. So obviously, the rebuild not working must have upset them enough that they changed management completely. So I guess if you were going to defend the learners, you would say, well, at least they're doing something, and they brought in this whole crop of, if you're over 35, you're too old to be on the Nat staff. We've hired all these like MIT whiz kid kind of guys that hopefully will work out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously not an MIT whiz kid kind of guy, and I'm
Look.
over 35, so I have no idea. But I sincerely hope it works out. But so I guess to the learners' defense, they did change directions. They did change what they
Mhm.
were doing. It's not like with the Wizards, for instance. That's just like going to go out.
It's going
I don't think.
forever. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
go
like they
forever.
just don't. They're trying to sell you ticket packages to see other teams starts. Although they did get Trey, and maybe I saw maybe they're going to trade for Zion. I don't know. I'm
They're
certainly
not
not
trading
an
no
okay.
Zion. They're
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
not an
do it.
NBA expert. I don't claim to be. I'm just but then I don't think the Nats are that tired. I do. At least with the Nats and the Learners, they were one of the best programs in baseball for 10
Mhm.
years, and they did win a World Series.
Sure.
And, as we talked about in our podcast, if there was a pitch challenge system in 2012, maybe they would have won 2 or 3 World, who knows, right?
That's a good
Um,
point.
they,
Yeah.
they were they were legit contenders for a
For a
while.
while. They were though.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like,
the truth though.
so they have done it before, so at least I give them that. Where some of the other teams in town, like when the Commander Skins were under Snyder, it's like they never did it under him. At least the learners
Yeah.
can at least say, "Hey, we gave you almost a decade of being a top 5 program in
Yeah.
baseball, several divisions, and a title."
Good,
So
yeah,
maybe
good
they can
farm
do it.
system too. A really good
Yeah,
farm system at the time too. Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
they can do it again. But I think any Nats fan that wants to be critical of the way this rebuild has gone is well within their rights to be. And any Nats fan that wants to be critical of how much they've spent, obviously I think they could spend, come up with another $50 million and put a team on the field that at least could approach 500. They could have done any time in the last few years, and they don't. Or they could have
Mhm.
had spending levels closer to what they used to have during the glory years, and they don't. So I fan angst, I understand. I think it's fair.
Uh, from Talk Nats, appreciate you. Stop signing Boris clients, and maybe you can extend players, right?
Completely fair. Yeah, no, you wonder if now, it would under Mike Rizzo, they were very much in the Boris business. I mean, I like Harper, Rendon,
Mm.
Scherzer, Strasburg.
He's he's a
I'm
free agent,
missing
right?
other.
Isn't Rendon's a free agent, right?
Yeah, I love. I mean, I know that I loved Anthony Rendon. I mean, he's one of my
I love
favorite
Sir Anthony.
players.
I love
He was
Sir.
so great. I don't know if he liked playing baseball or if he liked Washington D.C., but I liked. I mean, he was amazing. I loved him here. He was great.
Me
But
too. Me too.
yeah, I'd give him. If he if all of a sudden his all of his injuries are feeling better and he wants a few bucks, I'd bring him to spring training to see what he can do. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to happen. I think he's taking his 300 plus million and going home is sort of what it seems like. But yeah, no, I agree. You wonder if now under Paul Taboni they get out of the Scott Boras business because they're very much in it in the glory days under Mike Rizzo. At one point there was some article in the Post or somewhere that had like a position breakdown, and it was well over like half of the meaningful starters on the team were Boris clients.
Mhm.
Where now I think Wood unfortunately is, and
Yeah.
I know CJ isn't. Gore was, but he's
Oh.
gone.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Cruz might be. I shouldn't. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think getting out of the Boris business could be a good idea eventually. It seems like it does seem though that the new management. I think we're going to try to be the Tampa Bay Rays of the NL East. Is what it looks like now. But who knows? Maybe if we're
That's
good enough,
hard.
it is a
That's
little
hard to
hard.
do. That's
Yeah,
hard to do.
we're not a small market. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's like a lot of people with money live here, and
Yeah.
yeah, they built Times Square around the park. Our owners are some of the richest owners in all of baseball. If you put a winning team on the field, people come. In the city. Yeah, no, the city isn't like full of hardcore fans who are gonna.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sell it out with, winning 66 games, but you win 96 again, and people will be there, and so I don't know. I do think a little more investment in the on-field product, hopefully when some of these younger kids are turning into stars, would be welcome and something the city could use.
Talking that's confirmations. Of course, Wood, Cruz, and Ford are Boris people. He says I need to check on Fiend. Sheesh. I mean, Boris. I mean, isn't that like most baseball rosters anywhere? Like, it's a Boris. You're gonna have your best players are Boris clients anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
have we all
yeah.
have to accept that? That's just what it is.
No, and that's the thing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2027 in terms of if there's a labor stoppage or if they
Uh-huh.
do a salary cap or salary floor. Because this problem that we're talking about, it's not just the Nats problem. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it's not.
the Boston Red Sox couldn't keep Mookie Betts. I mean, like
Yes.
the Boston Red Sox,
Yeah.
right? Like it just seems like the Dodgers can just do whatever
Oh,
they
they can do what they
want.
want, man. Like
Yeah,
they just
and
play with house money. They can do whatever they want.
I mean, the Cubs didn't keep Kyle Tucker. I mean, they're
Yeah.
some of these teams like the Cubs and the Red Sox are now the middle class, and that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they used to be right up there. So we'll see. I think in general, I, it seems like what the Nats are doing is all right. Why don't we just put the rebuild on for a couple more years, accumulate as many young, exciting prospects as we can, and then see what shakes out in the 2027 labor negotiations. And maybe then if there's a salary cap, whatever, the Dodgers will be in like some kind of cap hell, blah blah blah, and then we'll go from there. And maybe they'll be in a really advantageous position at that point. But I do think there's a lot of unknown about the future kind of economic rules of Major League Baseball and what's going to come from the next collective bargaining agreement they agree to.
Yeah, that surprised me too. Talking next, the Yankees couldn't keep Soto. I was like, the Yankees of all team, they couldn't keep Soto. That's
Yeah.
how big it was. Like the Yankees keep everybody that's good. Like they usually keep everybody that's good. They couldn't even keep Juan Soto.
No, it's gotten out of control, and I do think there's really a chance that the 2027 season I would, I mean, it gun to my head, I think there'll at least be some kind of shortened season. There could be a whole canceled season. I guess it just depends how bad it gets. But yeah, I mean, baseball's in bad need of a new economic structure. I think people are sick of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the NFL, my wife's from Buffalo. She's all upset about what just happened.
So
But,
sorry about that.
but a city like Buffalo is a small city, right? But like,
Mm-hmm.
they've had Josh Allen. They'll probably have Josh Allen his whole career. Kansas City
Yes.
is not exactly a metropolis. They've had
Sure.
Mahomes. Baltimore's not the world's biggest city. They've been able to keep
Lamar.
yeah, right. And I think and Oklahoma City in the NBA won a
Yeah.
title, right? Like,
Yes.
in Major League Baseball has become like European soccer, where it's like if you're a good player in European soccer, you're gonna play for Barcelona, Madrid,
Yeah.
Paris, or one of the like rich teams in the Premier League in London or whatever, and that's it. And baseball's now become that, where it's like if you're a good player,
Yeah.
your career path is like you'll start with whatever team drafts you, but you're gonna go probably to the Dodgers eventually. And if you can't get
Yeah.
the Dodgers,
To
you're
the
going to go to
Dodgers.
the Mets, the Yankees,
I mean,
maybe the Cubs, maybe the Astros. And that's kind of what this league's become. And I just don't, I think fans are getting sick of it, and they need to come up with a way for teams to at least, I get you can't sign everyone, but you need to
yeah.
come up. If you're a city and you have a generational star like OKC has and Alexander,
Yeah.
what you need to, or like in the NFL, like Josh Allen or
Yeah.
Mahomes or Lamar, you need to be able to incentivize a
To
smaller
say.
market. Yeah, to say, just so
To say.
so you can. It's better for the league, right? When you have faces
Mm-hmm.
of franchises, in MLB, there are no faces of franchises anymore,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Everyone talks about the Dodgers, like, oh my God, they're such a great organization, player
No,
development, all that. And maybe they are, but when I look at their roster, it's like most of
it's
their roster are other
it's
team
somebody. It's
stars.
somebody else.
Yeah,
It's
it's
some other team.
Otani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts,
Yeah.
like Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
The list goes on, like Blake Snell, like
Yeah.
Yamamoto from Japan. It's like, Will Smith, I think,
Yeah.
is
Will
the
Smith
only
is
guy.
theirs. Will
Yeah,
Smith is
he's
their
theirs. But
prospect.
yeah, I mean, like, let's not act like they're, these player development geniuses when their whole lineup are free agents or
Yeah.
trades from other, stars from other teams.
That's
So
what they used to be like. They're not like that
yes,
anymore. They used to be like that. They're not
back in
like
the
that
day when
anymore.
they developed
Yeah.
Kershaw and
Yeah.
Bellinger
Yeah.
and Corey Seager and some of
Mm-hmm.
these guys. Yeah, no, but anyway, the economics of baseball have gotten way out of whack, and hopefully they can come up with a way to fix that. And I think they will. But I do think if you're a baseball fan, which I am, I don't know how great the Nats are going to be this year. But I'm going to enjoy going to the park because there's definitely a chance in 2027
Yeah.
things are gonna get dicey if there's, gonna be a season, because I think the small markets are just over it. They can't compete with LA giving guys like 600-700 million a year, deferring 90% of it, and all this stuff they're doing. It's gotten out of control.
It's only one team. It's LA for real. I'm not going to lie to you. It's only one team because now it's to a point, and we're going to get into. I'm going to get back to the Nats, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to say this. And what's up, Lou? I see you on IG in the chat. But now it's to the point where, like I said before, I used to hate the Yankees for doing it, but now I think that the Dodgers have taken it to the next level.
Oh yeah.
Like they've taken it to a point to what you're saying. Like, shoot, I'm an Orioles fan. Complete transparency. I think Gunner's going to be going to LA eventually. Like, it's just like players like that. And the Orioles, like, if you growing up, whatever, like growing up, me watching baseball, like you're not going to get a Cal Ripken Jr. staying in Baltimore for all of his year, for all of his career. You're not get players like that anymore. I get it, like to a certain extent, like Wade Boggs staying in Boston. Obviously, he jumped ship and goes to the Yankees, but he had a nice tenure of most of his like prime in Boston, right? Before he went to the Yankees. You're not going to get a player that nowadays, like, you're not going to get, like, the player won't even reach their maximum prime with that original organization. He's going to actually, after 5 years or so, he's going to take it for the next big deal. You know what I mean? After his rookie deal goes off. So it's just not fair because you're not getting like that player in their said prime for a minute. You're gonna get them in their rookie deal, and then after their rookie deal, they can go elsewhere to the Dodgers. I'm sorry, like to the Dodgers. That's just what it is right now.
Yeah, no, it's messed up, and I do think Major League Baseball has a big problem with it, and it's something they're going to have to address because it's no fun, if there are only a handful of teams, and the handful keeps dwindling every year.
Yes.
I mean, again, when I start to see the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs and teams like that kind of bow out on some of these free, and the New York Yankees,
when the Yankees bow out, you know it's a problem. They're not. That's the team that was willing to pretty much get anybody to keep their World Series hopes alive. They're not even going after some of these said players, which lets me know it's a huge problem. You know what I mean?
Totally. I mean, and that's the thing. And I don't blame the players. Obviously, when Juan Soto went through his free agency, he sees what's going on. I'm sure any of us, if we're looking for a new job or something, it's like, well, you could work here for this, or you could go to this place and they'll give you $700 million. I mean, we're right. Like, you're not. And I understand that's why they get Scott Boras to be their agent, because he's the guy who's done these deals. And if you take care of your business on the field, this guy's going to get you close to $1 billion now. So I get it, why they hire him, but yeah, it's more of a systemic thing with, they're probably going to need a salary cap, but I think to get that, that's sides are going to dig in, and that's going to be a whole thing. So we'll see. So enjoy the 2026 season, like really savor it if you love baseball, because 2027 could be ugly. But it's also, I think it's going to need to be ugly just to get this thing fixed, hopefully, so that you can have a more competitive league like the NBA or NFL or even the NHL. I mean, they all have caps, or some kind of economic rules where you can't just do whatever you want like the Dodgers are doing.
So let's get back to the Nats. So I want to get your opinion. So do you feel like the Nats got enough for Gore personally?
Yeah, I think so. Again, so Gore, I like Gore. I think he's a very talented pitcher. Obviously his, like, the moment where you felt like, okay, wow, we really have something, was opening day last year. I can't remember. He struck out like 14, 15. He struck out a lot of guys, right?
Yeah.
I was there that day. It was great. The park was electric. You felt like we were almost back to the glory years, that one game. But when you watch him pitch, I mean, he throws a lot of pitches, a lot of full count. He's enamored with a strikeout. He burns a lot. He's not like an efficient pitcher in the sense that, oh yeah, this guy's going to go 7 for you. I mean, there are a lot of games where he's only going 4. He's sometimes only gets through 5. Lot really cool strikeout numbers. He starts strong in the first half, but he's yet to complete a season where he has had a complete season and looked good in August, September. So with that being, and you only have him for 2 more years, and as we've just gone through a lot, you might only have him for 1.5, 1 plus. There might be some 60-game season in 2027 after some crazy strike or something, right? So you're really only giving up a year plus of him. Yeah, so to get back 5 prospects, 2 of which are probably going to be top 100 guys, and
Mhm.
the others have upside. And you have all those guys for 7+ years from the time they debut. If one of them hits, it was worth it. If 2 of them hit, it's really worth it. If 3 hit, it was like a haul, like a
Yeah,
steal.
exactly.
So yeah, no, I think the return was fair. And again, in tandem with what they did getting Harry Ford for Jose Ferrer, really that's the top 100 catching prospect for, a left-handed reliever who really hadn't he'd been okay, but not great. And I feel like Gore's a starter. He's been good, but not great, right?
Mhm.
Let's not mistake
No, I agree with
this
you.
this guy. This
I
guy's
agree.
he's not Tariq Skubal. He's not, he's and he could become that. He's still
Yeah.
ascending. You never know, but he hasn't yet. And I think it was a fair trade. And I do think maximizing the assets we have now with like Gore, and then obviously again, if CJ Abrams owns in DC, he's maybe should be renting. I don't know. I could see like some of the assets we have only for another couple years. It does make sense to flip them into assets we'll have for 6, 7, 8 years. So I think it made sense, and I think the return was fair. But it is a debatable trade. It's one that we'll learn
Mhm.
about. In a couple years, we can look back and really have a better opinion on it. It's not like a slam dunk either way on the surface right now.
Remind me when Juan Soto, he wasn't like a highly regarded prospect initially, right?
Not like to the level he became. No, it's
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
when you go back to 2017 when the Nats were,
It was
a
Robles at the
division.
time. It was Robles
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time,
We
right?
we at the time we needed a cat. We had Matt Wieters as our catcher, and he was like just
Oh,
okay.
man,
And
leaders.
we wanted JT Realmuto,
Yeah.
who is on the Marlins,
Yeah.
and I think that we were willing to trade either Soto or Robles for Realmuto,
Uh,
and I think Miami wanted both, and we balked at that, and that deal
yeah.
never happened. But yeah, no, I mean, at the time, Robles was ranked higher than
Yeah. He
Soto,
was,
or
yeah, top
Robles
five.
was a top 10
Yeah,
prospect, I
top 10, like a
believe.
top five. He was like for a while, they
Yeah,
had him at one at a time. At a
yeah.
time.
So yeah, you never know. Again, prospects are prospects. Like they
Yeah.
haven't done it yet.
Hmm.
So you never quite know. So I do understand. I think the rationale of getting 5 guys with upside for one guy like Gore that you get a year and a half of, or 2 years if there's no strike.
Hmm.
I think that was fair. I think it was a decent return for sure.
Speaking of Soto, and just like some of these prospects, do you see a player that could reach star potential like a Soto out of all the guys you named? Because you named a couple guys you think that could do it, but for you, looking at from what you've like did your research and what you kind of
Mhm.
seen, like what guy do you believe that really has that true ceiling rather than just a guess? Like who do you believe? Like you had to say stamp this one person. This is the one
Sure.
I really believe that could be that kind of player.
I think Fiend and Rosario would be the 2 with the most
Okay.
upside, where if everything works out, if Rosario comes back healthy from his surgery, he could be a plus arm. If not as a starter, he could be a wipeout reliever. I think he throws close to 100. And
Mhm.
again, I mean, there is some track record in the minors. He doesn't have it's like he's had some huge minor league career, but when you look at his baseball reference page,
Mhm.
I mean, he's striking out guys. His ERA's in the low twos.
Crazy.
He's starting games,
Okay.
So yeah, that would be a guy if he comes back healthy.
That's
To
Rosario,
watch out
right?
for.
You said
Yeah,
Rosario.
Rosario the pitcher, and then
Mhm.
Fiend. Yeah, Fiend was the headliner. He was the number 12 pick. That's a guy that you hope is part of your infield for 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it's going to be. But again, he's younger, so he's 18. So I mean, you're
Mhm.
not going to see him for a couple of years, but he would be the headliner. I mean, and we did draft Eli Willits, number 1 overall, a year ago. We have a lot of young infield prospects. The outfield at the major league level is starting to come into form. So yeah, if a couple of these infield guys come into form, then you have something.
I mean 14 dominated in 14 of 17 starts. Okay.
Yeah, go to his baseball reference page.
I'm trying to look at it right now, actually, because
His minor
I
league
see.
his minor league numbers look good. So that would be a guy, but he is gonna. I think he just had a TJ or is about
Uh-huh.
to. So we're not gonna see him. He's not gonna pitch this year. So, but a lot of young pitchers have had TJs and come back, and it's
Yeah.
fine. So
He was throwing 100 before TJ because TJ is like
yeah,
everybody's different when it comes to TJ. Like that is like there are guys who can come back and throw 100 miles per hour. There are guys who kind of get to like 95.
yeah.
Um it's weird how one's body is when it comes to TJ. But to now go into like obviously the Nets, they're guys that we thought that may have been centerpieces of this team. We all know Woods is going nowhere. He's set. He's cemented.
Yeah,
Like he ain't going anywhere anytime soon. He's a superstar in the making. But is anybody on this roster that that could get traded? Because you mentioned CJ, who I'm pretty high on. I like CJ a lot. But they got some infielders, in this trade where, thinking that maybe if they can come around, maybe or at shortstop, maybe eventually maybe CJ's a trade. He's an individual who could get traded. I mean, I would hope not, but are other players out there? Even CJ could be on the trade block.
I definitely think CJ's on the trade block. I think, Taboni, I think, gave an interview yesterday or the day before where he said, well, like, we'll listen to calls, but as of now, he's our shortstop. I think to code that, I think if someone wants CJ, they can have him. There was a report that the Giants wanted him and they offered a pretty good package, but we turned it down. I think if the Giants threw in Eldridge, who's their number one prospect, that we would have done that. But, I think maybe he's holding CJ, and also too, there's also the PR thing. I think maybe trading CJ and Gore like within a week of each other, is probably would be disastrous for the hardcore fans. And maybe if I had to guess, maybe CJ's moved at the deadline. I think that could make some sense. But the thing with CJ, he's not a Boris guy, so you could extend him. But the thing is I don't know if he's good enough defensively, or I'll be honest, I don't think he's good enough defensively to play shortstop long term. So ideally, you'd want to move him to second base. I don't know if he's receptive to that. I think if he was receptive to that, he would be a guy I'd try to extend. If you could talk to him, say, hey, do you want to move over to second? But we'd like to extend you for 8 years, whatever, and give him a good number, then I do think you need to throw this fan base a bone. I mean, I do like George was saying earlier in his comments, you get sick of like anytime we get a good player, it's like that good player becomes fodder to trade for 3 or 4 more prospects, et cetera, et cetera. So at some point the Nats, if they want people to keep coming to the stadium, are going to have to re-sign some of these good players. But I will say, CJ, I believe that for 3 more years. I wouldn't be shocked if they move him. That he would be the next most likely. Past that, I read that Jacob Young has been on the block. I don't know how much you're going to get back for him. Probably not.
Wow. Okay.
Probably not a ton. And then Luis Garcia, if anyone wants him, would be another guy you could flip. Sorry,
anyone wants to. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I like Luis Garcia. I like him. I like the way I think he's a good hitter. I liked it because he to me he hits with a plan. That's how I reference it. He'll go the other way. I like his approach. I like his approach a lot.
Garcia would be another one that I think they would trade. I mean, I don't think we really have any starting pitchers that we could trade or relievers at this point. They're all kind of young, unproven guys. So yeah, I mean, in terms of more moves, CJ, Garcia, maybe Jacob Young, that maybe Keber Ruiz, if someone was interested in him, might be a guy, because they did just get Harry Ford to be a catcher. And I don't know if Ford will be up to start the season, but you imagine he'll probably be up
eventually
by like June, something like that. So yeah, those would CJ, Garcia, maybe Young would be the 3 most likely for me.
So he went to college. I'm looking at Rosario. I'm looking at all the stats. I see it now. Okay. Yeah, I see it. What is and why would they want to trade CJ? Is it because of his defense? Because I think CJ has star ability. I think he has a lot of, and I don't even think he scratched the surface of how good he's going to be.
That's the thing. Yeah, I'll, as a fan, I love CJ. I would like him to stay in that for a while. I'd like them to move him to second, and and really just. I think if he were to put it all together, he could be like a 30-50 kind of
I agree
player.
with you. Yeah.
And if you could just get him a little less demanding defensive position, he could be great. I'm a big fan of CJ. He's one of my favorite players on the team as a fan. But if you're going to put on like your nerd hat as a GM, I get it. You have him for a couple more years. If you could again get another 5-6 player prospect haul for him, and maybe that makes sense. if he, again, I think you'd have to talk to him and his agent and
Yeah.
see where they are, if they would be willing to move off of Short. If they are, then yeah, I try to talk to him and lock him in. But if they're not, if he wants to play Short, forever, at least into free agency, then yeah, you probably
Yeah.
move him, because I don't think he's
I
ever going to
agree.
be defensively
A
good
Gold
enough at Short.
Glover. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just like for a real winning team that where
Yeah.
you're trying to win playoff games, that kind of thing, you can't have a guy at Short that's just kicking the ball around as much as he does, unfortunately. But I love
Yeah.
his bat. I love his legs.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things about CJ. I just would love him even more if it was at second base,
I
maybe.
don't feel like that would be a problem though for some strange reason. I just feel like at time I think he would be accepted. He would accept that because I don't. I agree with you because I've watched CJ play and his defense is so inconsistent, so erratic.
Yeah.
So, like, I do feel like because on any team you get traded on, they're going to move you in eventually. They're not going to just have you play
Yeah. Yeah.
shortstop because shortstop is come on. Shortstop's a quarterback of the infield. Like, so
Mhm.
they're not gonna like sacrifice their defense if you're not good at playing shortstop. I mean, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
wherever you go, you're going to probably move positions if it's that bad. If you're going to a winner, they're not going to tolerate it for that long. No one does that. Like typically when you play short, it's because you're eventually you have the ability and you've kind of honed in the position in year 2 or year 3 where you're supposed to where you're one of the elite shortstops. Look, I love Gunner, but like
Yeah.
Gunner has gotten better, but Gunner to a point you don't know yet because he still makes little errors at shortstop. But eventually you could think to yourself like maybe he has to play third, rather than the shortstop, or maybe he has to play second. Um, but also the offense kind of, because Gunner is such an offensive dominant
Yeah.
player
Yeah.
that you can kind of deal with certain things. But like eventually, if you're trying to be a winner, that's going to happen regardless. Like, forget it. A-Rod had to go to third, and he was a gold glove caliber
Yeah.
shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I just think that if that's the hang up for CJ, then yeah, he has to go. Then that's a hang up because eventually, at the end of the day, you're in a game of playing baseball to win games. You don't want to always be on a rebuild. Like I know that was a joke being said earlier tonight, but you eventually want to put your team in a position to have your young guys flourish because now they can enjoy going to the ballpark because they
Hmm.
have an opportunity to win games rather than having, oh man, wait, this again. And then people are only worried about their individual performance rather than having that vibe where everybody is together. Like we've seen it when the Nats won the World Series, how everybody was together fighting for each other, doing all the cool things in the dugout. You know what I mean? Like you
Hmm.
want that environment where everybody is kind of on one accord trying to win a baseball game and take their team to the postseason into the World Series. So hopefully that's not a thing for CJ because I do think where he's at his career and where the Nats are, eventually you can't keep trading players. And especially
Yeah.
you got young guys who can produce, like just trying to play that lottery game, eventually getting a good prospect. Eventually you got to settle in on a core group. We know James Wood is one of them. Like you do have like pieces. Like right now you have pieces. Even on offensive, you have pieces. You can have CJ Wood. You know what I mean? You got some of these guys in the trade. You can put this together, and now you will have something. You just sometimes you just got to settle in on something. That's why I don't like analytics at times. I think people they take it to another level. You got a core, like build off your core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, at some point, you don't want to be a minor league team. Let's put it that way.
There
We
you
don't want to
go.
be the
There you
Oakland
go.
A's. We came from like this hat kind of references that
Yeah.
we came from Montreal, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be like the Expos, where it's like, okay, cool, we'll get a couple good guys, but then after 3-4 years, they go to the Yankees, the Red Sox, and
Yeah.
now the Dodgers. These kind of team, no, and I don't. And again, we're not like this little. I know DC isn't as big of a market as New York or Los Angeles or
Yeah.
Chicago,
But it's
but
not
it's
small.
not like a little.
It's,
It's not a small market,
it's not a
right?
small
Like it's not
market.
at all. Go have your $20 beers at the stadium and go like go look at
Come on.
the like have a silver diner like 2-story little Times Square thing they built. This isn't like some little podunk town that's just got a baseball team. So yeah, no, at some point you need to sign these guys. You need to put a competitive team. They obviously have the money to do it. I understand you don't want to throw the money away. I understand you want to start signing
Yeah.
free agents to go from 70 wins to 75 wins. When you sign a free agent, you want it to put you
Mm-hmm.
over the top. But with all that being said, yeah, I mean, at some point, the Nats, if they want to keep their fans coming, they're going to need to sign a guy to stay for a while.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that happens sooner rather than later, for sure.
Because I think they've done well in terms of, because using CJ as an example, I think we've done well to helping develop CJ to get him to a point where, to me, he's an all-star caliber, I mean, not hitter, offensive hitter, not gonna say defensive shortstop, but you know what I mean, offensive caliber, leadoff guy. You know what I mean? He has that potential. So I just feel like eventually you guys settle in or something. And also shout out to Mrs. Nibley. She said, "That's my husband." I saw it. She said, "That's my husband." Shout out to
yeah.
Mrs. Nibley.
No, thanks to her. She actually, I feel bad. When we started this, she was in Albany at one of her friends had like a baby shower, and when she was able to get back, she beat the storm. I was like,
awesome, good.
She got here like about a half hour ago, but I was worried that she's going to be in Albany for a week while it's like a fallout or some kind of zombie apocalypse like here in town. So I'm glad that she made it. Yeah, but I'm glad she's watching the show. I have to talk to her when it's done.
Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Hey, Kevin, before we end this stream, how can folks catch your content, your podcast content? Also, how can they buy some of your great apparel for ODC? Just please plug everything here.
Well, hey, thanks you. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at K_Nibley. We restarted the Talk Nats podcast. We've had some really cool guests, Jonathan Banks, Drew Storen, Tyler Clippard. We have some other Nats, former Nats players on the docket that will be coming through. Follow us. It's at Talk Nats Podcast on X, and that's also our YouTube handle if you want to watch the live show. And if you want to find that podcast, the audio only version, it's basically on every, just search Talk Nats Podcast on every, anywhere you can find an audio podcast, it's there. For the clothing thing, it's shopoldDC.com. We're also on social at shopoldDC, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all, pretty much all of it. And you could use the promo code TalkNatsPod or Empire at checkout for 10% off. And also sign up for a mailing list. We put new stuff out at least once a month, but a lot of times more often than that on a whim. It's a super, I'm pretty much the main designer, the guy who runs it. So, if I get inspired, I went and saw Marty Supreme, I did like a whole hockey shirt off of it. If I get inspired, a shirt's going to come out. So, if you sign up to our mailing list, you'll get an email when something new drops. And we try to keep our prices fair. Pretty much everything's $30 or under. And it's, DC sports culture, kind of by fans, for fans, like fun, original stuff that, as Wole said, if you go to a bar, you go out to a game and you wear it, someone's gonna be like, dude, where'd you get that? And that's the kind of stuff we're trying to make. It's definitely not the generic team store stuff. It's kind of cool stuff, a lot of pop culture mashups, and hopefully it catches on because I really like it, and I think it's just fun stuff for sure.
Oh, I think it will catch on. It's really good quality. I mean, it's real creative. Man. So I think it will definitely catch on. Folks, so make sure y'all you see it strolling right now. So make sure y'all pull up, go to shopoldc.com and get your merch. That's all I'm saying. Get it. Don't play. All right, don't play. All right, folks, I appreciate Kevin for being on. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene. Rages, Ayedig Deuces. We are out. Peace.